The world of global trade is constantly in flux, and trade conflicts can shape entire economies in ways that are sometimes difficult to predict. One of the most prominent and ongoing disputes today is the economic showdown between the United States and Canada. What started as a dispute over tariffs has turned into a high-stakes battle that impacts industries across borders, changing the very nature of global economic relationships. A single tariff can start a chain reaction, impacting industries, jobs, and consumer prices. Countermeasures can force entire economies to reconsider their strategies. Initially, the U.S. sought to assert dominance in trade. But as the conflict with Canada intensifies, the economic consequences are being felt far and wide. What started as a simple tariff issue has become a full-scale economic standoff that threatens industries, jobs, and even the very foundation of North American trade. With factories closing, jobs at risk, and prices on the rise for consumers, the situation has escalated well beyond trade rhetoric. So what triggered this escalation? And what can we expect as the standoff continues? Let's explore the 7 most crucial developments in this ongoing and intensifying economic conflict. Trade conflicts between nations are nothing new, but what sets this conflict apart is Canada's strategic response to the U.S. tariffs. Instead of retaliating indiscriminately, Canada took a much more calculated approach, carefully selecting which industries and products to target. The result? An economic shift that's not just about trade, but about sending a message. Canada will fight back without jeopardizing its own economic stability. When the U.S. imposed a 25% tariff on Canadian goods, Canada didn't simply impose a broad retaliation. It targeted industries with deep political and economic importance. From the famous bourbon of Kentucky to orange juice from Florida, these products hold symbolic weight in American politics. But it's not just symbolic. It's about hitting U.S. industries where they matter the most, at the consumer level. With products like electric vehicles, Canada directly affected U.S. manufacturers in a crucial sector. This carefully designed response isn't just about tariffs. It's a strategic move that shows Canada can engage in this trade war without suffering collateral damage. This sets the stage for what could be a prolonged standoff with implications beyond just North America. The electric vehicle, EV market, is one of the most forward-looking industries in North America, and one of the major players in this space is Tesla. However, the trade conflict between the U.S. and Canada has placed Tesla in a vulnerable position. While Tesla is known for its cutting-edge innovation in the automotive world, it is also heavily reliant on Canadian resources like nickel, lithium, and aluminum, key materials required for battery and EV production. Canada, recognizing the importance of these materials to Tesla's supply chain, has the ability to impose tariffs on these crucial resources. This could severely disrupt Tesla's production capacity, leading to increased costs and delays. While this affects Tesla directly, the ripple effect goes beyond one company. As the EV sector grows, other automakers are also dependent on these raw materials. Canada's decision to squeeze the supply of materials could cause significant delays in the production of electric vehicles across the board. Investors have already begun to react, with stock prices fluctuating due to these trade tensions. As the market adjusts to these disruptions, it becomes clear that the stakes for the EV industry are high, and Canada's strategic moves could play a major role in shaping its future. One of the most overlooked yet critical consequences of this trade war is the effect on the North American automotive supply chain. The manufacturing of vehicles is an intricately coordinated process that spans across borders multiple times before a car or auto part is finally assembled. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico are all key players in this supply chain, relying on smooth cross-border trade to maintain efficiency and reduce costs. The imposition of tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum has upset this delicate balance, leading to increased production costs, delays, and job losses. Factories in the U.S. and Canada, which rely on the constant flow of materials from each other, are seeing costs spike. This disruption threatens not only large-scale manufacturers, but also the smaller suppliers that play a crucial role in keeping costs low and production lines running. Ironically, the very tariffs that were meant to protect U.S. jobs in manufacturing may end up hurting those workers, as the disruptions caused by these tariffs force layoffs and even factory closures. Canada, understanding how tightly knit this supply chain is, has made the automotive sector one of the primary battlegrounds in this trade war. As this conflict deepens, the pressure mounts on the U.S. to reconsider its policies and take action before the economic damage becomes irreversible. Trade wars are never just about economics. They also have profound political consequences. As American consumers, factory workers, and farmers start to feel the pinch of rising prices and job cuts, the political landscape in the U.S. begins to shift. What was once viewed as a strategic move to protect American industries is now being questioned by politicians who fear voter backlash. Many U.S. politicians who initially supported the tariffs are beginning to reconsider their positions as constituents feel the pressure of higher costs and job losses. Meanwhile, in Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has taken a different approach. Rather than simply reacting to U.S. tariffs, he has positioned himself as a defender of Canadian sovereignty, using the trade war to rally support for national unity. He's framed the retaliatory tariffs not as a punitive measure, but as a necessary action to protect Canadian industries and workers. This has helped to strengthen political support within Canada, as the country braces for the longer-term economic consequences of the dispute. In the U.S., however, the trade war is becoming an electoral issue. Trade policy, once a tool of economic strategy, is now becoming one of the most contentious issues in American politics. While the U.S. has focused its attention on tariffs, Canada holds another powerful economic tool: energy. The U.S. is heavily dependent on Canadian oil, natural gas, and electricity. Canada has not yet fully used this leverage in the trade conflict, but the mere possibility of limiting energy exports has sent shivers through U.S. officials. Imagine a scenario where Canada cuts back on oil shipments to the U.S. This could cause gas prices to soar, leading to widespread economic instability across the country. Northern U.S. states, in particular, could face severe electricity shortages, leaving millions without power. These consequences would far exceed the impact of any tariff imposed by either country. Canada's decision not to deploy this lever suggests it is being held in reserve as a last resort. If Canada decides to use its energy exports as a weapon, it could dramatically shift the balance of power in North American trade and completely reshape economic relations between the two nations. What started as a dispute between two neighboring countries has quickly spread beyond North America, influencing global trade. European nations are adjusting their trade policies in response to the growing uncertainty, seeking alternative markets and alliances as the U.S. and Canada's trade conflict escalates. Meanwhile, China is capitalizing on the situation, forging stronger trade ties with Canada to replace the lost business with the U.S. Developing countries are also seizing the opportunity to step in where U.S. businesses are now finding it harder to compete. As the conflict continues, the risk for the U.S. is clear. It could lose its status as a dominant economic force. This trade war is about more than just tariffs. It's about relationships, trust, and the shifting tides of global power. While the high-level strategies and political maneuvering capture the headlines, the true cost of this trade war is being felt by everyday people. Higher grocery bills, unpredictable gas prices, and small businesses struggling to afford imported goods are just the beginning. The ripple effect of this conflict extends far beyond big industries, touching every corner of daily life in the U.S. and Canada. Job losses in manufacturing, rising costs for essential goods, and uncertainty about the future are now commonplace for many families. The harsh reality is that even if a resolution is reached tomorrow, it will take years for businesses and supply chains to recover. Consumers will continue to feel the impact long after politicians sign a peace agreement. The key question remains: how long will the American public tolerate these hardships before demanding change? What began as a strategic political move has evolved into one of the most impactful trade conflicts in modern history. The battle between the U.S. and Canada is no longer just about tariffs. It's about global influence, economic power, and the future of trade in North America. Will the U.S. continue to escalate this conflict, or will it succumb to mounting economic pressures and seek a resolution before irreversible damage is done? The stakes have never been higher, and the consequences will reverberate for years to come. What do you think? Are we witnessing the dawn of a new economic order, or will cooler heads prevail? We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Share them in the comments below. For the latest insights into the automotive world and more in-depth analysis, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.